Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel and welcome back for a new book reading. As you can see, today I'm gonna start reading the book from Stephen King, The Body. And maybe some people would even know about this book, but this is actually the same story as the movie Stand By Me. And there will be a link in the description of the trailer of Stand By Me, so you can even try to watch it somewhere or even find the book and read it yourself. This will be an easy book read. The reason why I'm saying this is that mainly the books from Stephen King are very detailed, and what they've done in these books, there's actually another book I'm going to read in this type of way, is that they cut out a lot of details from the book, or from the story, and made it much easier to read and left the most important things of the story in there. So yes, so the first thing I will do is start with the introduction. The chapter is going to be very short. It's going to be like maybe videos like a couple of minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes tops. So without further ado, here we go. Introduction. So what's all this about, Vern? Daddy asked. He and Chris were still playing cards. I was reaching for a detective magazine. Vern Tessio said, "You guys want to go and see a dead body?" Everybody stopped. In the summer holidays of 1960, in the town of Castle Rock in Maine, USA, 12-year-old Vern Tessio brings the most exciting news the gang has ever heard. First, let's meet the gang. The 4 members of that day are the storyteller, that's Gordon LeChance, Chris Chambers, Teddy Duchamp, who can't see or hear very well, and Vern. They're all 12, nearly 13, and they spend their days in their little treehouse playing sport, following their baseball teams and doing jobs for their parents like cutting the grass. They also smoke cigarettes, drink beer that they steal from home. And now for the exciting news. Vern has heard his older brother Billy and one of his friends talking about a dead body. It's a friend of the gang's, Ray Brower, and it seems he didn't get off the railway tracks in time. A train appeared from nowhere and killed him. His body is out in the countryside, several miles away over in Harlow. The boys are shocked. They have never seen a dead body. They make their plan. The next day they will set off to Harlow. They will follow the railway tracks across the river and camp overnight on the way. And when they find a body, they can report it to the police and get their pictures in the paper. So, the next day they set off. The plan seems simple, but you never know what's going to happen on an adventure. The writer of the story, Stephen King, was born into a poor family in Portland, Maine, in the USA in 1947. When Stephen was only 2, his father left, and his mother had to bring up her children alone. Stephen studied hard and went to university. He wrote for the college newspaper and was involved in student politics, supporting the movement against the Vietnam War. He also met his wife Tabitha there. They married, he took a teaching job, and they had children. King wrote in his evenings and weekends, selling short stories to magazines for extra income. He also worked at novels. He wrote one called Carrie, but threw it away. Tabitha fished it out of the rubbish and made him finish it. While he was writing it, his mother died. He began to drink too much. Carrie came out in 1974 and was an immediate success. King was able to give up teaching and became a full-time writer. Success was not all good for King, however, and he had bad problems with alcohol and drugs. His wife and family eventually pulled him through after a 10-year struggle. In 1999, King was nearly killed in a bad car accident. He was knocked off the pavement by a van that was out of control. For a long time after that, he could not sit comfortably at a desk because of his injuries, and he thought about giving up writing. However, he kept writing. Car accidents often feature in his books after this time. King and his wife lived in Florida in the winter and Maine for the rest of the year. He is a big supporter of the famous US baseball team, the Boston Red Sox, and he often goes to their games. Small town America provided the background for King's most famous novels and stories. He takes an ordinary place and imagines extraordinary events happening there. He sold his first story, The Gas Floor, in 1967. He completed his first novel, Carrie, in 1973, and it came out the following year. Next came two of his other most famous books, Salem's Lot and The Shining. King has now written more than 50 novels, films, stories, and many collections of short stories and nonfiction, including Head Down, the recent of 1 year spent training his son baseball team. He has sold millions of books worldwide and won many prizes as one of the world's best-selling and richest authors. He has some advice for anyone want to become a writer. Read 4 hours a day. Write 4 hours a day. If you cannot find the time for that, you cannot expect to become a good writer. His sons have followed his advice and are both writers. His daughter is a church minister. You'll find most of Stephen King's books on the horror shelves in the bookshop or library. He read horror stories as a boy, and this gave him a taste for them. The Body is not a horror story, however, although it contains a dead body and real terror. The main character, Gordon LeChance, is very similar to Stephen King, and King uses details from his own life in the story. When he was a boy, for example, King saw one of his friends get hit by a train, and Ray Brower does in this story. Gordon and Stephen King are the same age, profession, and social class. They were both born and raised in Maine. They both taught English at the beginning of their career. Gordon's father is an emotional absent. King's father was really absent. The fact that King chose to tell the story in the first person also suggests that there is a lot of him in it. The Body came out in 1982 and was filmed in 1986 as Stand By Me, starring River Phoenix as Chris Chambers. Many other Stephen King stories have been used for television and film. One television program called It was voted the most frightening program of all time in the UK. Two other Stephen King stories are available as Engine Readers, Misery, and The Breeding Method. Both of these are horror stories. So this was my first read of The Body, the introduction. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be back with the continuation of this book. Like I said before, the chapters are going to be very short, a couple of minutes long, and I'm looking forward to it. I have another book, same style, also very short, from Pension Readers, and that is also a book that has a movie attached to it, and that is called Misery, and that will also be following here on this channel. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.